Damn it, didn't do it. Hey everybody, I'm BeamsYT, and today I have a friend with me.
Hey!
And today we will be reacting to 3 creepy, true hiking horror stories. I could not talk.
Horror stories.
Reacting to 3 creepy, true hiking horror stories. Hiking horror stories. So let's get into them. I wasn't able to read that, but okay. Hiking horror stories.
I once took a trek on the Appalachian Trail in Pennsylvania, which is the longest hiking-only trail in the world.
Really?
I went it alone just for fun.
Why?
I went late in the fall, though, so it was cold and there weren't many other people hiking.
No shit,
in fact,
Sherlock.
I think I only ran into like 2 other people going the opposite way. The part of the trail I was on was in thick forest, and it was definitely a scenic walk.
Hold on. I'm gonna do
The
something.
river and the early trail I was on was in thick forest, and it was definitely a scenic walk. The trail ran alongside a small river, and nothing could be heard but the sound of the flowing river and the early morning birds chirping. It was time for me to sit down and take a break, so I found a big rock sitting aside the river and sat down on it.
Wait,
I took a sip of my Gatorade,
And
and then I could swear I was hearing a baby's
Where
cries
was
coming
it?
from the distance. It was coming from further down the trail in the direction I was walking.
That's fucking
So I had to
creepy.
get up and follow the sound of it, because of that off chance that a baby was stranded in the woods alone. As I walked further down the trail, though, it seemed like the baby's cries stayed the same distance away. This went on for like half a minute of walking fast before I gave up, and assumed it was somebody with a baby walking down the trail. I sat down on another rock I found on the side of the trail by the river. Eventually the crying seemed to just stop. Like it didn't fade away really, it just stopped abruptly.
Then just
I
fade
sat
away,
on
just
that
like
rock for
fucking
5 minutes,
boom.
just taking in
gone?
the nature and taking a
Well,
few
that's not
videos
creepy
on
at
my
all.
phone.
yeah!
That's when I heard footsteps approaching nearby. Expecting to see another hiker walking the trail, I saw some frantic-looking woman hurrying over to me. She came so fast and so close that it actually scared me. She stopped uncomfortably close to my face and started screaming at me, "Have you seen my baby?" I calmly told her I heard a baby crying not too long ago and told her to follow me. We walked quickly down the trail in the direction I was chasing the sounds of the baby earlier. I looked back every few seconds to make sure she was keeping up with me. Eventually I summoned up the nerve to ask her how on earth she lost her baby, but she didn't answer. So I turned around again and stopped when I saw she was gone. And the weird thing, she was right on my tail just 10 seconds ago. I screamed out for her a few times, but the only sounds around me were the sounds of the birds chirping and the river.
Yeah, I have emotion activated.
I figured even if she trailed off away from me, I would at least still be able to see her in the distance. I stood there for a long time deciding what to do next. Just move on with my life and continue the trail, or walk back and try to find this woman. I did one more quick 180-degree scan of the area we just came from, and what I saw next may not sound very disturbing, but it was disturbing to me in that very spot. I saw the woman standing across the river, arms hanging lifelessly at her sides, and she was looking at me. Not saying anything, not moving a muscle, blank expression. Just standing like a statue, watching me. I had made up my decision right there, and that was to move the hell on with my life right there.
That's
I
fucking
walked
creepy,
as fast as I
dude.
could away from there until my calves hurt from walking so fast for so long. Eventually, I made it back to my car after looping around another trail. I cut the hike short after what happened. I was truly unsettled by it and even started to question my sanity. Like, did that actually even happen? It seemed so unreal, and yet, at the same time, it felt real in the sense that I lived it. I just want to know if anyone else who hiked the Appalachian Trail had any kind of freakish experiences
I think he's just
like
making up
this.
a bunch of bullcrap.
That's not fucking creepy at all.
Dude, that's really fucking creepy.
Oh, goddammit, ads. I hate ads.
Story 2.
Let's get on with it, bitch.
I have a preserve by my house since we live in a highly
Is
populated
that the same
suburban
guy?
area. There isn't much green.
I don't know.
It's a huge preserve with miles
Sounds
and miles
like it.
worth of biking and hiking trails. So long story short, one night in 2016 at like 11 at night,
No.
I decided to go for
Put
a
it
run.
down.
I'm weird in the sense that I like to avoid people when I go for runs. That's just how I am. I held my phone with a tight grip with the flashlight on and started my run at the edge of the preserve.
Why would you
onto
do
the
it at
dirt
night,
hiking
you
trail.
idiots?
I
I
know,
felt I
right?
had more
Fucking
energy
everything
running at
creepy
night, too.
happens.
It was weird. I don't know how to describe it. There were no lights at all. It was all just nature.
No shit.
There was also a dead body that came up in the previous week in the preserve, but I didn't really let that concern me too much since I live in one of the safest neighborhoods in the state. It was also a weeknight, so there was literally no one else in
Put
this
your ass back
preserve
here.
but me.
Oh.
Well, that's at least what I thought. I got tired after about 10 minutes of running. Yeah, I used to be out of shape. I had to catch my breath, so the first bench I found, I
You're
sat
out
down
of
on.
shape. Dude, I can barely
I
run
have
for
to
like
admit,
3
it was
minutes and I
creepy as
have to
hell
run a
being in a
gym.
pitch black preserve like that all alone.
Yeah.
It feels the same as being alone in the middle of the forest. There were weird sounds coming from all around, and to be quite honest with you, it was scaring me. Of course, most of them were
No
animals,
shit.
so when I heard
Sherlock.
leaves and sticks crunching nearby, I assumed it was a
Oh, finish
raccoon
my sentence,
or
bitch.
fox or something.
Get out of here, bitch.
But anyone's worst nightmare came true when I noticed something tall
I'll
hiding
smack
behind
you.
one of the trees. I couldn't quite tell what it was because an iPhone's flashlight is only so bright. I stood up and walked a little closer,
He's got a
and I
point.
was kind of doing a crouch walk because for some reason I thought that would make me more low-key. I got close enough to where I saw a hand wrapped around one of the trees. The hand was in a white glove, though. I felt like my heart sank, like I was suddenly in a life or death situation before I could even see who was behind that tree. Then they finally decided to reveal themselves.
Oh.
Someone dressed as a clown stepped into the range of my flashlight.
Oh shit.
I wanted to wait.
This
until
reminds
now
me
to
of
mention
It
this
all
was back
over
during the
again.
clown epidemic in 2016.
Oh God.
What I could see in the little light I had, this person went all out with his clown costume. From the
Looks
makeup
much
right down to the
creepier
clown
than It.
shoes. The most
Where's
disturbing
the
part
camera?
was the
Okay,
bat
that's right
with a
there.
large foot-long spike wedged through it that he was
That's
holding.
not like that.
His head was angled down to give a more menacing, terrifying look, and he walked very
Can
slowly
we make it
towards
bigger?
me.
Yeah, but I don't wanna.
I had only one option, and that was to run as fast as I could, even though I was already
It
so
looks like
tired.
he has a knife.
I didn't run on the
He does.
trail. Instead, I ran into the woods until I felt like I was going to puke. Then I shut off the flashlight and crouched down behind a tree. I heard running zoom past me, maybe 10 feet away. When the footsteps faded away into the distance, I ran back to the trail and ran all the way back the way I came. And I actually puked by the time I made it to the street just from running so much. I didn't mention it before, but everyone figured that the dead body found the week before was linked to the clown epidemic. It should go without saying I stayed away from the preserve for a while, and I definitely never went in there past dark ever again.
Nah. You should never go in there ever again. Just saying.
Well, to me, that's not exactly creepy. It's just fucking
I went on
normal
a solo
shit.
camping trip
Story
to the
number
woods a few
3,
miles from
same
my
guy.
house.
bring a gun or a knife.
After
Kill that
setting up camp and
motherfucker.
eating, I took a half-hour nap in my tent and went for a hike.
Nope,
It was a
same
normal
thing.
hike in a rather quiet forest. Until I
My
thought
dad
I could
carries
hear
a gun with him
footsteps
literally
nearby.
everywhere he goes. You cannot
could've just
separate
chalked
him
them
and his
up to
gun. It's
being
like
the
his.
footsteps
It's like
of an
his.
animal.
It's like
They
he
kind of
married the
sounded
gun instead of my
human-like,
mom.
if that makes
Good point.
He fucking keeps the gun by his side at all times.
Same as my mom.
I'm pretty sure he does it in. He takes it into the shower as well. No joke. Although I've never seen him shower, and I don't really
Considering
think I
how
want to
deep
see him
into the
shower.
woods I was, and how far from any real urbanization I was, it would definitely be odd to
Oh,
cross
that's
paths with
good.
another person there.
Then just make
I
it
didn't go
bigger.
looking around for
No,
anyone,
Kiwi,
though.
that
I just
doesn't do
continued with
anything.
my
Yes, it
hike.
does.
When I got back to my
No,
tent,
it
the
doesn't.
first thing that I noticed was that the zipper to my tent
Oh,
was
I can
undone,
make it smaller.
and the
Cool.
door flap was open.
And we're gonna keep it
Right
like
away,
that.
my heart was racing at the thought of someone having been in my tent. I checked to make sure that nobody was still in there first, and then went inside to see that my bag had been gone through.
Oh, shit.
Surprisingly, nothing was taken, though.
Hold on.
I checked to make sure that nobody was still in there first, and then went inside to see that my bag had been gone through. Surprisingly, nothing was taken, though. I contemplated packing up and moving spots, but I figured it was pointless. Whoever came already scoped out the place and left, therefore they wouldn't have a reason to come back. Fast forward to that night when I finally got in my tent to go to sleep. A few minutes after getting in my sleeping bag, I heard a noise. The first time I heard it, I had no idea what it could be. But the second
I don't
time
like that
heard it,
noise.
it It sounded like a
Stop
static
running off, you stupid
breathing sound.
automated light.
I sat up and looked around my tent, and at that point it went silent. So after sitting up with my heart racing for a decent while, I laid back down and tried to move past it. But after not even having my eyes closed for 10 seconds,
Put that
I
down,
heard it
goddammit.
again. Some kind of grainy, staticky breathing noise. I started digging through my bag and found something I knew for certain I
I don't like
didn't
that
bring
noise.
with me. I pulled out a huge, archaic-looking walkie-talkie type thing, and the static was emanating from that. I instantly associated it with the footsteps and whoever searched my tent. But all I was thinking was, why would they put that there? Just then the static stopped, and there was a breathing sound once more coming from the big walkie-talkie type thing. And then in a deep, almost unintelligible whisper, I heard the words, "I'm outside your tent." It's crazy how in just a couple seconds, your whole world can change, and how your whole body can become overcome with fear. I frantically pressed buttons on the oversized walkie-talkie until it finally seemed to turn off. Then, I heard something hit the ground outside, something heavy.
Just leave it alone.
I had a choice. Do I stand ground and protect my belongings and myself,
Or
or
run.
do I make a straight dash for the pickup truck? When I heard something else hit the ground right outside the tent, I chose the latter and made a run for my pickup. I left behind my tent, my sleeping bag, and other equipment. But in reality, none of that stuff really mattered when my life was potentially on the line. For all I know, it was some kind of trap to just get me to leave all my stuff behind for them to take. Or it could have genuinely been someone who intended on harming me.
We need to see another one of these.
But we can't, because that's way too long. Okay, well that was fucking creepy. No joke.
We'll just end it here.
Yeah, so I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.